To say I've been a longtime fan of Marvel Comics is a bit of an understatement. Since I was about 8 years old, I started collecting and did so for about 25 years. When the MCU came around, I was quite happy to see some of my favorite heroes brought to life on screen, and especially after the movies did so well. I was really happy when my favorite hero, Captain America, had such a great run of movies and also a great series of releases from Hot Toys. When these first came out, I eagerly jumped on the releases and as if there weren't going to be any more. In the early days of Hot Toys MCU figures, they used the standard body, which, although it's a great-looking figure, it didn't quite have the muscular proportions and the height that is more befitting of a proper Captain America. So as time went on, I became more picky about which releases I was going to get. My initial plan was to buy the Thor figure for my brother Ed, who was a huge Thor fan, but he would never buy one for himself. But I held off because the figure itself wasn't on a large enough body. It was pretty much in scale, although it looked muscular, it wasn't impressive. Being such a huge fan of the comic books and growing up with such great stories, one of the things that was lacking a little bit in the MCU version was how powerful Thor was supposed to be. There were subtle changes from the comic books into the movies. Like, for example, Captain America was frozen on ice for 20 years in the comic book, but 70 years in the movie. Tony Stark was a product of the Vietnam War in the comic books and the Afghanistan War in the movies. Thor had the most disrespected retcon of all, though, because he was removed from being a god into some kind of alien race. When we were growing up, we had these books on mythology written by Edith Hamilton, which showcased and detailed all of the major mythologies around the world. And there was a big chapter on the Norse gods. And when you see the representation of Thor in the comic book, it is very accurately a grim, serious, stoic Viking god. And when you get into the history of these people, these were folks that worshipped gods who were very harsh and very unforgiving. In fact, their ultimate goal in life was to die in battle while taking as many of your opponents with you. So when Thor Ragnarok came around and they started making some changes to the character into more of a silly comic relief feature, it was kind of insulting to longtime fans. And I had been holding out hope that I would finally get a Thor figure that would really exemplify the character that I could put up on my shelf and say, yes, that's the best version of Thor that they've come up with. And now I've seen the Thor Love and Thunder trailer. I've seen some of the toys that are being released, and we're going to go from a grim, stoic god wearing blacks and reds and silvers into a bright royal blue. It's about as far from the image of a Norse god as you could imagine. And then they put out Tessa Thompson sitting there like a petulant wench in her three-piece suit because now she is King Valkyrie. This character she's portraying is Brunhilde. Brunhilde was a Valkyrie, a shield maiden of Odin, one of the choosers of the slain. In Norse mythology, you would have, after every battle, the Valkyrie would go down and they would choose the bravest of the warriors. And they would take 50% of them up to Valhalla, where they would train and eat and train until the day of Ragnarok came, when they would meet their ultimate end, along with all the gods. And this Valkyrie, the shield maiden, she was cast out of her position by Odin because she defied him. The most powerful being in the entire universe that she worked directly under. She was like an angel and this is God. And she defied him. Odin had decreed that there was a battle that one warrior was supposed to defeat the other one. And Valkyrie got there and she was supposed to make sure that this happened. But Brunhilde saw that the man who was supposed to lose the battle was more virtuous and he was more deserving of life. So she allowed him to live instead of Gunther. And as a result, she was punished by Odin and surrounded by a ring of flame where she would live out her life as a mortal woman married to a man. But he did give her the one little benefit that at least it had to be a man who was worthy of her, who could leap over the wall of flames that surrounded her sleeping body. To take a character that is that heroic, to take a character that is that outstanding. I mean, picture this. You're someone who has seen this God, this All-Father, perform feats, truly fearful and awe-inspiring feats. And she willfully disobeyed him, knowing that that punishment was coming, and still did it anyway. And how is she portrayed on screen? In Ragnarok as a grouchy, drunken mercenary, and now in this one, she's now King Valkyrie, who just seems bored, irritated, and pissed off. Yeah, you know what, Marvel? You deserve whatever poor box office revenue you get. You've seen your better days, and the people running the ship are not even fit to climb up a ladder and kiss the asses of the people who created these characters. I was hoping for one thing out of this movie. I wasn't expecting very much from the film because I've seen the direction they're going in. But I was hoping for just one thing, and that was a brilliant figure from Hot Toys of Thor. And I'm not even going to get that while they trash these characters. Sorry for the downer video. If you like the movie and you're looking forward to it, good for you. I hope you enjoy it. I'm not very optimistic. Thanks for watching.